Good morning, guys. This is Minnie back. Today's going to be kind of a quick day. I got a prior engagement this afternoon. There won't be no, probably won't be no building today. Just a lot of informational touch-up stuff. What I want to start off first was a message from Pete at Scaledworld. He took the week off from the site, but he says there's only one entry into the feature spot. So you guys want to, don't hesitate to send your finished work over to scaledworld.net. Make sure it's a good, clean, clutter-free picture. You know, that way we can see exactly what you guys are doing. Kind of having a rush day today, kind of a rush show. So not our usual. But if you guys aren't familiar yet, you can go to scaledworld.net /feature form. You can also email your pictures to info@scaledworld.net and then feature@scaledworld.net. Also, we're due this week on the Facebook page. We started 2 new threads. One is to feature your guys' builds, and one is to ask questions if you have some questions. I only got one question so far, and that was for my friend Norman. Norman is usually a military aircraft type of builder, and his question I could not answer. But on those question and answer things over there, you guys are free and more than welcome to answer questions, give your advice there too. I might not address some of the questions online, but I like to share with you guys some of the weekly features. So Pete had a busy week. He didn't get a chance to feature anything this week. But he's still looking for your guys' submissions. So if you have a good clear picture, a nice picture, you know, that ain't all gibberish. He don't want to send a picture like what I have right now, just a whole bunch of stuff on the desk, or something cluttered like this with the car in front of it. Try to get a nice clean picture of the car by itself, maybe outside, maybe in the driveway, a piece of concrete or something. Take it in the grass and put it, you know, somewhere where you can get a nice clean picture. And he also wanted me to mention that there's a SoCal NNL 13 this weekend in California. So if you guys are in that area, you can find information out on that show by going to scaledworld.net. There'll be information up there, not just for this weekend show, but there's other shows and stuff up there that you guys can go check out. What we have today is, let's see if my tablet is charged. And it is. All right. Let's get over here and let's get what we're getting. All right. Hello, Gabriel. I hope you're doing well. If you guys don't know Gabriel, he's an older Hispanic male I've been in contact with for several years, mostly through Facebook. He's having a series of health issues right now. The doctors have put him on bed rest, and he's stuck on oxygen, so he can't use some of the stuff that we're used to using. I was thankful, Gabriel, to see you out and about this weekend with the grandkids. That was neat to see a few pictures of you actually getting out of the house. All right, let's go right there. So if you guys got some information, tips, you guys can help Gabriel continue the hobby, even though he's battling. He told me one time, but I couldn't remember right off. We don't need no education. And I don't want to give off the wrong diagnosis, but for some reason I keep thinking Gabriel suffers from lupus, and I can't remember. Um, I have several older Hispanic friends whose parents, for some reason, lupus is very bad in the Hispanic community. Um, so I don't know. That's like I have a couple African American friends, and it seems like sickle cell was really bad for some of those. For some of those, um, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry, Gabriel. Um, and I think here in the American Caucasian American, we seem to get um, we seem to have a bad problem with diabetes. I know our friend Ted Lear. You guys might know him as Chopper. He's been battling diabetes and has had to have a few surgeries. But he posted up this week building a new project. So keep at it, Chopper. He's healing and getting back to the bench, and he's got to do some physical therapy and stuff to help him walk right again. Um, Turn the ringer down, John says. All right. My phone is set up for the ringer is Pink Floyd. Um, so sorry about that. All right. Let me share the volume down on this just so John and ain't gonna be all over me. All right. So this week on Facebook, we started the Q&A, and we started what did we do? We started the Q&A, and we started the what's on your bench thing. Oh, I shared, this is a neat little thing. If you guys ain't subscribed to Scaledworld on Facebook, here's a neat little thing that, wow, the Pete shared with us this week. You don't need to be a photographer, with high dollar equipment to get a good picture. Just use a nice white background and some plenty of lighting. That car there is John's Panda Skyline. And no pun intended, that's my Sunny that I built. And that's my Sunny that I built for Scaledworld.net, and that's the wagon I built for George Ramos over at Vision 124. So let's go back to where I wanted to go. All right, no, I don't want to do that. If you guys don't know who Bob Marino is, that's going to be our good friend in the community, Stig 800. All right, so this week I posted up Scaledworld Weekly, what's on your bench, let's see your projects. And this is meant just to see what you guys have going on. Me and Pete thought about having a thread of some of your guys' finished builds. But that's what Scaledworld.net is for us to view and enjoy your guys' finished builds. So let's use Scaledworld.net and the feature address to show off our finished work, and then we'll use Scaledworld Weekly to look at our projects. I gotta say, a great response from a lot of you guys in the community. I appreciate that. What did we have? We have 98 replies. My friends over, I'm gonna try to widen this up just a little bit. Our friends over there at ISM gave me this idea, and they have a weekly thing that is promoted for all the stuff. Let me get out of there. So let's go on and let's start from the top. Load previous. You guys killed it this week up there, man. So I really appreciate that. And thank you for all your contributions and all that for what's going on. Let's see. All right. And a lot of guys from the community that haven't made videos in a while posted up some nice work. So let's see. we'll spend a few minutes looking through your guys' stuff. All right. First off was me. We at Scaled Weekly got the hood and the trunk hinged and working on the C1 Charger build. Um, and then right here, you guys see me do that live, a new set of tail lights for the Charger. Dennis Santiago, he has a monogram Chevelle, which is now the Revell Chevelle, and he has it setting on some really nice looking wheels just in primer. I told Dennis, just setting in primer, that thing looks mean and ready to race. If you guys don't notice, he's smoothing in the bumpers into the car. If you guys can't see that, so that's a nice project, Dennis. Um, just a couple conversations, us going back and forth. I shared with you guys that I cut the roof off. You know, I was just adding stuff up there. Todd Staples. Todd comes in here a lot. He has his own YouTube channel and stuff. He's Tool Taz. If you guys ain't subscribed to Tool Taz, he's chopping the top on this 454 AMT kit, and he's pro streeting it. Then see, you got James Stoner, which is a new guy to the community. So he's doing good. He's made this he's make this Mustang look like a yard dog, a junkyard dog, is what he's calling this one. I kind of like his take on the Mustang. He's trying to make it look like a saver. You know, he's working with it. Pictures are much better on Facebook, guys. I'm using my tablet through my phone. Ed Dumas, I've always says his name wrong, but I call him Big Ed. He loves his trucks. He's taken a how-to we did on making a Chevy front clip, and then he's making his own style of Cadillac pickup truck. It's looking real good. Love the wheels, and it's looking really good. He's made it. It's going to be a single cab using the Revell 99 Chevy truck and some other parts that he's used. And then here's another one. Love these square bodies. I actually picked up a couple of the plow trucks. Like I said, I'm gonna rape the plows off of them for a military build, but I plan on building both the trucks somewhat like this. And again, love these wheels, Ed. Big Ed is a quiet builder. He don't show a whole lot. He likes to join my page. He posts on a few other pages, but he is one of those builders you really don't see a whole lot from. And then when you see a finished build, you're like, that is sick. Joshua Scott, he's got this 1/20th scale he's working on. Kind of a blurry picture, and so I'm kind of showing it more blurry. Ryan Camacho, guys, we know him as See No Evil Builds. He's taken the new release Round 2 Datsun, and he's throwing in some of the parts from the Revell RX-7 that came back out earlier this year, and he's making his own style of truck like we did the Sunny from C1. He's putting his own parts and work into it. And then he shares a few different angles of it, which looks pretty cool. And then he shows it on these TE37 wheels. I would have to admit to Ryan that I like the deeper wheels better. With the wide body than those racing wheels. I kind of don't like those. James Texan Scott, he is busting out some history of an old kit right here. But he's making it a show rod instead of the regular stake bed truck. If you guys don't see, he's added styrene to the running boards, giving it a custom look. He's built a better floor right there for it. And you can see on the back walls right there that he's made the same indentions as the wood grain fence. So that's going to be a really neat looking one. And, you know, we haven't seen NPC for years. So he has a classic of a kit, and he's still not afraid to chop it up. And that's what I like to see, the difference of a modeler and a hobbyist. A modeler is going to go buy a kit, paint it up, put it on the shelf, grab another kit. Hobbyist is going to not worry about the value or the rarity of a kit, and then he's going to attack it the best he sees fit. And that's looking really good, James. Oh, went too big on it. All right, here's John Sharpie. Now, John's is trying, he's been pushing me to build this kit here. He thinks this kit here for being a tank would be a great build for me. It's a Trumpeter T90. John is very influential to me, very helpful to me when it comes to brightening my own horizon. He says since his picture, it's finished up now, but that right there looks so clean, John. I really like that build, like the camo and everything on that. We have a friend, we have a mutual friend, John and I, Ivan, and we like to tease Ivan about the T90, but I have yet to build it, and I need to attempt myself to build it. John, that looks really nice, bud. And then our good friend Tom Kern, look what he's doing with this Ford resin body. This is a new out to the market. I forgot the company that does it. Tom does a lot of magazine work, guys, and he loves his roadsters and his hot rods. He's had some full published articles in some of the Scale Auto magazines and stuff. Tom is full of knowledge, full of history, and to see his take on this old classic 40 Econoline van with the Supremes and the white walls and the fade paint jobs, if you guys can't really see it on the picture, go to Mr. Mini Droon's Facebook page so you can really see what he's doing here. And then you got Nicholas Sandone, which is very, very friendly. Love to share my builds with Nick. Nick's always sharing his projects with us. He's taken the new C1 Camaro, and he's got himself set up. And then see, Aaron, I can't say his last name, but he's working on one of these resin figures. And now, you guys know I like building everything, so I wanted to see everybody's projects, even though it won't be an automotive build, just like John's was a tank. We still appreciate everybody showing their work. Stuff like this, seeing a figure like this, it's what kind of made me want to get into some figures, because look at the texture in the hat, and then his beard. It just gives you so much more to paint than just a cylinder head and a transmission. That's my interest, though, so thanks for sharing that with us. And then April Ham, what's not fair about April is he has real Honda race cars. He works on real Honda cars, so his knowledge is gonna by far beat anything I could recommend. And here you can look at his intake and the turbo setup, and this S2000 is just going to be sick, April. If you guys don't follow April on Facebook, he's always posting some of his work. He is a good member and good supporter of the Diversified Scalers Model Car Club up there in the New Jersey area. He's got a great haircut, too. And here's Jeff Brown's Corvette with the 3D printed wheels. Dude, you guys need to see the wheels in person. These wheels are just sick. He's gone with square headlights. It's going to be somewhat of a custom, like a road racer type custom Corvette. But it's pretty cool. Ryan, we just showed off some of your work, brother. You just missed it. So if you guys ain't subscribed to Ryan Camacho, and see his YouTube channel, go over there, subscribe to See No Evil Builds. All you gotta do is go over someone's icon. It'll take you to their page. You subscribe, hit that bell button so you know, so you can keep all their stuff updated. Here's another one. Now Tony's updated this picture later on. He's using the AMT Snap Together kit. He's built his own frame. You can see all the framework there. If you guys don't know, this right here is a promo based kit. Um, it's a promo based kit. So a lot of people overlook it. This time Tony has taken it and made the frame and made a frame. He's going to fully detail it. Tony builds a lot of lowriders too, so it's great to see him doing a custom truck. Later on, I'll show you the picture where he extended the fenders so it will set down. He wants this one to be like bagged on the frame, not really squatting. Some of these other builders right now, they're stuck on the squatting where the car is raked different. It's raked with the front end up and the rear end down, but that's good looking framework right there. And then Tony. Now, Tony is building a great looking Nova, if you guys can't see that blue Nova. But I want to build Tony's real car. Tony's real car, I think, is 1200, or I forgot what it is, but it's an early 70s to early 70s import. And man, it's going to be nice. It's tubbed and, you know, it's going to be a race car. Then our great friend over there at Lism, Lowrider N Scale Magazine, Lism Cash, he's between working on real cars, working on his magazine that's going to be due out. He tries to do one magazine coverage a year, but with the working a real job and stuff like that, it takes a lot of time to publish a magazine. But here he is working on his Camaro. Then we got Marcus Williams. Marcus does a whole lot of different other builds. This right here is kind of a box stock build using the new released kit from round 2. He's putting his own little twist on it. You can see the Z20, the IROC wheels and stuff. And then here's his VW. Really, really like this. You can see the transfer over from Herbie to Lovebug to like some metal work and everything. But look at the top detail that Marcus has on the door and on the roof. That's sick, Marcus. And then we got Steven Rhodes. Me and Steve had a conversation about this build. Guys, this is the old 33 Willys from AMT. It's been reissued a bajillion times. It was always been an altered like drag car per se. They even brought it back out. Round 2 brought it back out maybe 6 or 7 years ago in a tin and the big flat boxes that Hobby Lobby were carrying for a little while. But I really like the way Steve Rhodes has taken his take on it and finished it all out. He shared some more pictures with me. Let's see if we can pull this picture up. I had mentioned the comment. This is our friend Steve Zimmerman. This is one he had started and needs to be finished using the same body. But Steve shared with me that he filled in the hole that comes in the kit. And back here was a indentation, great big indentation right there for a spare tire that would be on the back, the way some of them old 30s coupes were. But he's filled all that in. It's looking great. And then Chris Crawford, he is working on this Mercedes race car. That's not a cheap kit, guys. I'm glad to see somebody actually taking an approach to it, because it's expensive kit. I like the wing brackets. I don't care much for the great big wings, but I like the details that some of these kits are putting in their wings. Some great Studio 27 photo etch that you guys can get for this from Hyro Boy. If you decide to build this one, Hobby Design has some detail upsets too for this kit. I mean, you can end up with the $300 or $400 build by the time you buy this kit and you buy the aftermarket stuff that's out there for this kit. That is a great kit. So thanks for sharing that with us. And then we got Mike Stanley. He's working on the Revell Rubicon. Wish this was more of a detailed kit, but he's doing a great job. It doesn't have a roof on it, and you can see he's working on the winch and the front bumper stuff right now. Revell should have, they here the last few years they took a lot of their die cast stuff. This would have been the Tomb Raider's Jeep. That was a die cast, and then they just flipped it into plastic form. So it lacks no opening hood and stuff like that. But we need some newer style full detail builds, and I think Revell's missed the mark on a few of them. Um, and then here's another one for Mike. He's working on this 41 Chevrolet pickup, and you can see the other green Jeep in the back. I think the back when he's making a rock crawler, you can see he's opened the hood with it. It's got the missing fenders. All right, you got Sean Johnson. He is doing a custom two-door Lincoln. These come in four-door kits only, and I have these. I have these wheels. I was going to use them on a Mustang, and I never did. But they're up there. But you can see how he's making it a two-door hardtop. That's a good-looking build, Sean. Then our good friend Pete is working on this right here, this Evo. One thing that sucks about some of these kits, when they come molded in plastic, you're almost forced to use a red. Just because of the bleed back that some of these kits come. Then our very own friend Gary Ruby, the moderate modeler, he hasn't posted much on Facebook lately or on YouTube, but he is still building. And he shared with us this custom Buick Electra that he's working on. Let me get that back in picture frame. It looks like he's taken a 70 Duster roof and put on there. So that's looking pretty cool. If you guys follow Gary, you always know he's always doing something and always a crazy build. Our friend Brian Neiswanger, we call him the Hack. He's always doing a really far out projects. Right here is an old Ford pickup truck. I'm getting messages left and right. This right here is an 04 pickup truck that he's been working on. It's a mix of the AMT pickup truck with some of the monogram stuff and the way he's flipped the front end to be a newer front end. And, he's been doing a lot of work. This right here is probably 3 to 4 years, if I'm not mistaken. Brian's been working on this one. It's been a very long project for him, but he doesn't rush, and he likes to build them trick. So this is a side picture of Gary's. And then Chris Fowler, he is using a C1 TDR kit. Now that MR2 is looking sick, so I can't wait to see that one finished. Our good friend Bella Rodriguez, he does all kinds of race cars. He has a YouTube page, and I am sorry, guys. I think it's Bella Racing is what I think it is, but don't hold me to it. But he does a lot of see this Mustang up here. He loves a lot of those USAC style road cars, and right here he's building a pretty rare monogram Ford Pinto funny car. He added some stuff to the rear wheel well. He told me that he thought the rear wheel wells were too wide open. Then here, if you guys don't know who Caesar is, Caesar's always doing some great custom work. Subscribe to him on Facebook to see some of his work. I'll pull that up closer for you guys. The dude is, oh my God, the dude is a magician when it comes to doing modeling. Hello, Stig. Stig, guys, has been doing some great 3D printing stuff. I'm lucky enough to know Dave McCoy and be able to call Dave McCoy a friend. I get to show with him during the year. So he's trying his hand at weathering. So I keep him encouraged and promoted to do that. He's getting his boys into building too now, his younger boys. So that's great to see the whole family showing up to the contest and putting in builds. I think last year he was saying his boys built more than he did. one of my best friends right here, Anthony Rios. We all call him Mr. Biggs. He is our president of the Model Car Builders Association that I'm proud to be a part of since 2006. And right here is one of his upcoming projects. Now, when Biggs builds, he goes way, way all out. It might take him a year to build a model, but when it hits the shows, it's hitting magazines, it's hitting cover cars. Anthony is a very, very accomplished builder out of California. He's had his hands on a lot of the designs when Revell was doing, starting off some of the lowrider interest in the early 90s, or mid 90s, I should say. He had a lot of hand in helping Pegasus design wheels and pumps, and he had actually at one time played a big part in Big Kid Enterprises. For you guys that don't know that, they were the keeper of the brand before Hoppin' Hydros started coming. They were the keeper of the brand to get with the full working hydro setups. They had offered pumps, the real working hydraulics, I should say, and then they had accessories like seats, consoles, sunglasses, and then the company kind of dissolved, and then came along Hoppin' Hydros and Pegasus and stuff like that. So Anthony has got some history within him. Not only that, but he was a local rapper when he was younger. So it's cool to actually get to know him and hear and see some of his early work. But this right here is some more of the cockpit that he's working on. And it's just, I wish you guys can see better, way better pictures on Facebook. I just want to try to get you guys to see some of the stuff here. Jason Getty is also a guy I get to call my friend, and I get to see pretty often. His stuff does not do, pictures does not do Jason stuff any greatness. Jason did get the cover with one of his pickup trucks for the model hut for the week. The banner picture, flawless paints. You guys just, these pictures ain't giving these builds justice. It's hard, it's strong competition, but it's friendly competition, and it's great to know him. Now Daniel Martin is building some big shoes, is what we like to call these guys. A lot of people think every big car is a donk, just because of the wheels or because of the height. But this 66 is looking really good. It's looking really good. And then John, our good friend John over there at Gap Hill Speed Shop, he is attacking a Johan 64 Cadillac. It looks like he's got some Z wheels on it right now, and we can't wait to see what John does with the rest of this. Let's see if we can't pull it down in the picture. You can't wait to see what John does with the rest of that. All right. And then Mike Mathers, he is trying to get done for a show. He says the show was Saturday, but he works 14 hours today and tomorrow, so he better get his foot moving to get this done for his show Saturday. Let me see. I'm trying to get you guys. I'm not the best cameraman. Let's see what else we got. We got Chris Willett. It's building a Chevelle stock car. Chris Dunner is building this King. I don't know if it's a King cab or crew cab, but it's looking pretty good. This might get put on hold. Chris was sharing with us today that he decided to go back to college to better his career. Chris does a lot of construction, and you guys know if you're in construction, you're based upon weather, and when you're trying to raise a family, it's kind of hard to, you know, stay on top of things. So he's going to do go back to school. So best of luck there with you, Chris. Now Hank is a guy I can actually say I encourage to build. Hank was a friend of mine's stepbrother. I'd only get to see Hank when he was a younger kid, maybe 10, 11, when he would come over to visit his mom. And So I was always building, and he would come over to my house with his older stepbrother, and he just fell in love with models. And now Hank has been building for about 20 years now. So I think his daughter even builds a little bit. Um, Ashley Jones, his I can't remember what this car is by looking at the top. I want to say it was the um, S2000, but it doesn't look like it. It's looking like the BMW M3 for some reason. And then Dave Darrow is just now opening up this kit. Will Dave get it built? We don't know. We like to tease Dave about being a buyer, not a builder. Then here's another one from Cash. He's building a Mustang convertible, but he's making it look like a coupe. Misha Semtrik. Now, he is the owner and developer over at the Ukrainian Scale Productions company, and we have a build coming up this year in honor of these guys. But he's working on the interior for his build. It's looking very good. Degon is another great member of Diversified Scalers, and he's working on a Scooby. Kevin Brown is a local guy to me too. He's been doing a lot of stuff for the slot car guys, and he shared a few pictures with us of this the newest Chevelle that he's working on. It's looking really good. It's a turbo car. And then Julian is working on the Revell Foose Cadillac. And right here he's showing us that he's building the trunk setup for it and everything. Nicholas, he on YouTube is called Big Boonsky. He loves his rigs, and when he does his rigs, guys, he goes all out. Look, these are all the custom bumpers that he's making, and those are just for the truck and the trailer. That's not a bunch of different trucks. That's just the truck and the trailer. Then right here he'll show the tanks, the fenders and whatnot. And then Josh Ramsey, he is building Humvee, and he's also working on this plane. Monty Davis, you guys know Monty Davis. He's a great guy in the community. He is working on the Dodge like diesel truck that came from Lindenberg, but he's made it a Dodge little red wagon rear end to it, and it's pro streeted. It's just full of all kinds of craziness. If you check that out, way to go, Monty. You guys know Monty is a Mopar fan. Joel Jackson, guys, is building this CUDA. He's been very helpful on getting me to build my Revell 4-door Rabbit. He has a real Rabbit, so he shared tons and tons of pictures with me. Ryan Boyd, he is getting his butt in gear building some stock cars. He's got this one and he's got this one, which I like the older Monte Carlo. Reminds me of the days when racing was, you was racing with the car you built, not with just a shell. Back then, you had to build your muscle. It wasn't regulated by rules and standards and stuff. Robert is working on the Star Track from a company I've never heard of, but it 1/1000 scale. Can you guys imagine how big that is? So my hat's off to him on that. And then Ryan, I ain't even going to try to say your name, buddy. He's working on one of the older monogram Firebird Pro Stockers. I'm liking that green. And then here's Ryan's Camaro too, right there. You guys see a lot of these builders have more than one project going on. I'm loving the Fairlanes. I'm a big Fairlane fan. So he shared that with us. Eli shares a lot on Facebook. I don't know if he has a YouTube channel. I like Eli's work. Right here's the Nissan 350Z he's working on. Now here's Tony's updated picture. See how he's widened the bed up right here and up to get those big wheels to tuck. That's neat. Our friend Bill, Um, you guys know him as Bobblehead Scale Customs. That's his Cadillac. I really did not care for the Uptown Motions Cadillac when it came out, because the way the doors would open, it had an opening hood and stuff. And this is another kit that they came from. Let me get it back in picture for you, Bill. This is another kit that came die cast first and then to plastic. So I think they kind of missed the mark because it's kind of overscale and it's kind of thick. You know how the die cast is thick. But Bill's making it look good. I've seen a lot of these built, and they turn out good. It's just my own preference. And then Pat is working on making this here Bonneville. But if you guys don't notice that it's convertible and the roof pillar thing, so he's still got some work to do, but let's keep him encouraged. That is a well-detailed kit, a lot of little parts though. And then Marcus, guys, you have to see Marcus's stuff in person. Now he has his own YouTube channel too, and he does his YouTube channel in English and in Spanish, mix Portuguese style language for his other viewers. But man, you want to talk about doing some great paint jobs. He's worth the follow, and a very good guy in the community, and he's worth the follow. He's working on the new release of the Revell. I don't know what they call that cutlass, the GSXR or something like that. But it's got the full-blown body kit and the other motor and stuff in it. Thank you for sharing that with us, Marcus. And then Taylor Braun, which is Too Tall. He is working on this Coronet Roadrunner thing. Yeah, it's the Roadrunner, not the Coronet. My fault. It says it right there in the title. He got it pro. If you guys don't know Taylor, he has a real drag car. He helps a lot of guys in his family and his neighborhood do drag racing. So a lot of his builds are either replicas of Roadkill, or he's does this drag kind of stuff, and he's a big fan of the Roadkill show, so he does a lot of the Roadkill builds when he can find the kit. And that is it, guys. I appreciate you guys all for, you know, adding to the Scaledworld weekly What's on Your Bench. We'll do it again. We'll do it again next week, and let you guys post that up. And then we have the questions, and then like I said, the questions we didn't get a whole lot of. Here's what sharing on YouTube and Facebook calls us. Stig, which is Bob, seen us all building and working on these Liberty Walks. He went out and got him a Liberty Walk so he could build one too. But look at this beast that he picked up. Now that is my favorite Lamborghini. Out of all the years, for some reason I just like the Gallardo. I think the way the size of the car, the performance that the car has, and just the overall look. The Gallardo is by far my favorite. A lot of people like the Countach. The Diablo was way too big for a supercar. That's like the Celine S7. I don't understand why people wanted the Celine S7 or the Diablo. They were just, to me, too damn huge of a car. And that's like the Porsche that Paul Walker was killed in. It was just too big of a car, I thought, you know. But that's just my preference. So can't wait to see you do that. Can't wait to see you get on these two builds, Stig. I did get the paints in from Brian Buster from the Model Hut. Scaledworld.net will be doing a few. We're going to be doing a few builds with this, with some of the Model Hut colors to show off and to promote Brian over there at the Model Hut. Brian reached out to us. I love this. You got to get, it's so much pigment. It's already shook up, and you see how much pearl and stuff is in it. You got to get this stuff shook up. then you look at it now when it's all in there. This is just going to be a beautiful color. Um, so we got a dozen colors. We're going to be able to do some of our own builds with them. And what the heck? We're going to do some of our own builds with them, and then we're going to see what we can do to let you guys get into them. But you can buy them straight from the sellshack.net. See if you can't see that right there. Brian, I'm proud to say that now Brian is going to be a sponsor of Scaledworld Weekly. He loves to support Scaledworld.net, and he reached out to us, so we got him under the glass. The Sell Shack has a lot of stuff. You guys hear me talk about that, but Brian stepped up in a big way by asking what he can do for Scaledworld Weekly, and as of right now, I told him let us try his paints, and if the paints are something that I would recommend to another builder, we'll go from there. But I can't recommend him enough if you're looking for used kits, parts, rebuilders, brand new stuff that you can't find on the shelf anymore. Check out the Sell Shack. You'll be surprised what's on there. Everything is priced. You don't have to go to an auction page. You don't have to worry about being scalped for shipping cost. The only drawback to the paints that Brian is doing now, they have to go standard shipping. Because of being a chemical, they can't go priority. And then I'm trying to get to our other page. All right, and then we started this section here too, guys. Scaledworld Weekly question: Are you having a fitting problem? Paint not working? Ask for help here. So far, we only really got one question, and that was from our friend over at ISM, is Norman Davis. And he asked, he says his paint booth is related. I don't know, acrylic. But I couldn't really help him because the only thing I suggested him do is not to use the Future floor wax to actually get it clear. But so if you guys know of any, would you recommend that's acrylic that would have a good shine? He said he's tried the Alclad Aqua Gloss and the Future with mixed results. Young Model Masters here. How are you doing, James? I hope you're doing well. If you guys don't know, go subscribe to James on Facebook. If you guys can, his mom has, they have a GoFundMe page right now for him. He's got some procedures that need due that some of his insurance ain't covering. If you guys don't know, James is disabled. He has a few digestive disorders. I'm not going to get all into your business, James, but if you guys would like to help James achieve his goal, go follow his page, and his mom has a link set up to some fundraising stuff over there. Speaking of fundraising, we have PayPal set up now for Scaledworld Weekly at yahoo.com. We want to do some raffles, but we also want to generate some money, not just for Scaledworld Weekly, but for stuff that we can give back to you guys in the community. So here's what I was up. Here's my first suggestion for the year. I have a box that is 12 inches by 12 inches by 10 inches. All right, it's pretty big. I can't put it on camera. I was thinking, would you guys have fun with a blind raffle that I'll put whatever I can fit in this box, and it's a guess to what it is when you open it, Or would you like to see what fits in the box so you know if you want to get in the raffle or not? What do you guys think? Because I'm just real quick, I'm going to do something real quick. If I was to do the giveaway sight unseen, let me see what kits I would put in there myself. Now for me, a lot of my kits are opened. Alright, well, I will let you guys know exactly how many. Would you guys want to know how many kits were in there or how many items were in there? Because, you know, we do our own resin casting over here on some stuff. Bill, Bobblehead Customs, he's gotten some of the raffle stuff. I mean, some of the resin stuff before. I have built-ups. I have parts. I mean, what would you guys rather know? How many kits or how many items? Everything that I put in a blind raffle will be usable. They will be usable. I don't believe in doing you guys like that. Usually the raffle money goes back into the community, so I want you guys to stay positive about it. Don says items. All right. Because it could be, you know, we'll fill the box up. We'll cover the shipping, but we need you guys to cover the raffle. So I want to make sure you guys are happy. I don't know if I could actually bid on something. Bid on something, but I donate to something that I wouldn't know what was in the box, if I'm being honest. You know what I mean? Do you guys want to do a weekly raffle? Or do you want to do a raffle, say, take a month long to do? Would you rather have a quick one or because I'm saying if I pack the box up as I'm sitting here, I could think of stuff to put in it. It's already going to be a blind raffle. You already don't know what you're going to win. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like I'm coming up here and saying, okay, for the next week, we're going to raffle off this Charger convertible kit. And you guys know you guys have a week to come up with whatever money you want to put into the raffle. But if we do a blind raffle, I could add in paints. I could add in custom washes. We can add in hobby supplies. We could add in parts, kits, wheels, you know, stuff like that. So it's kind of, in my head, I'm kind of don't know which way to go with it. We're still waiting on Hunter to send us what he wants to donate into the Minis toolbox for the rafter. But I'm thinking in my head something that we could do now to generate some stuff now. So give you guys a week to think that over. I know a few of you guys will come in late into the chat, so maybe watch the video, leave your replies. You guys can also leave your comments at scaledworldweekly@yahoo.com. Yeah, I'll write that down for you guys real quick. And then that way I'll do my best to get to answer that. Right here, you guys can leave your information, ask your questions, whatever you need to be asked, right here at scaledworldweekly@yahoo.com. That also will be the PayPal information. That way, it last time we was doing the PayPal raffles was actually going into Pete's regular family funds. Pete found it. He wasn't upset, but what Pete's concerned was he didn't want to spend money that I was generating from the raffles on stuff that him and his family were using. And so we decided to come up with the new PayPal that will be just for Scaled World. We went under the Scaled World Weekly thing because that's where we'll do our auctions, and that's easier to handle, and then trying to do it at the website. We wanted to keep the website's main focus of showing off your guys' finished work, all this other stuff on the side projects, like what other people are building, like what I've been doing, you know, information and stuff like that that we've been putting out there. We're going to keep under Scale World Weekly, and that way he's not overly congested here at scaledworld.net. He wants to focus on making sure you guys that are submitting your work get the coverage that you guys deserve as a model builder within the community that we all love and enjoy. We don't want people feeling like, well, I'm getting overlooked because I don't build at Minnie's level, or I'm getting overlooked because I'm not from a certain area or group. As you guys will know, if you guys attend car shows, sometimes that buddy system runs a lot of stuff for the contest viewers. It gets some builders upset. It gets other builders not even wanting to go to shows. So with Scaled World, everybody is accepted. Every level is accepted. Every genre is accepted. You don't have to have a muscle car. You don't have to have a new age car. You doesn't have to have an old school car. It doesn't have to be a tuner, a lowrider, muscle car, what have you. It's for the automotive builder to be showcased his work like the hobby should be intended for. I could build 45 models in a month if I had the time. Doesn't mean they'd all be great. You know, so if it takes you a year to build a model, build the best model you can within that 1 year. And if you can build 16 in a month, do the best you can and build it. You know, don't let anybody tell you that you're not good enough, that you shouldn't be doing it, or, you know, you don't have the talent for it, because I didn't have the talent for it at 5 years old. This was the hobby I chose to stick with. This is a hobby I chose to grow in, and I got better. You know, a baseball player ain't going to wake up one day, go out there, grab a ball, throw a 90-mile-an-hour pitch. He's going to work at it. He's going to practice. He's going to do what it takes to get his career going, to get what passion he has to go. Nobody wakes up one day and is like, well, this is what I'm going to do. You got to find your way. And so don't ever be disencouraged by someone else's comments. Here's my biggest concern, my biggest rant, and my biggest rebuttal. If you came up to me and you say, this looks like shit, you used the wrong hood scoop for that year car, or the car's too low, or, you know, your door lines are off or whatnot, I will take it. I will take any criticism that you have to give if it's going to help me better my build. But don't come up to me bashing me and not letting me go to your build and looking at your build too. You're telling me what I did wrong here, but I can't see what you did here. See what I'm saying? So my boss at work called it a pissing contest. Don't come over here during my parade if you don't even have a member in your parade, is how he used to say it. So, and that's something that I've lived with growing up too. I'm like, I need help. What am I doing wrong? Why didn't I win? Why did this car here win and I didn't win? And then hearing comments like, well, you just got to keep trying, you know, just keep working at it. You'll get there. Well, what do I need to work on? You didn't tell me what I needed to work on. You didn't tell me what my flaw was. You didn't tell me you got a great big old glue fingerprint right here. Or, you know, your hood ain't centered, or your wires are out of scale, you're going to the wrong area, you know, stuff like that, because I'm just dumping what I thought was detail. There ain't nobody else coming in my class today that cut the roof off a Challenger. Nobody has these custom wheels or custom made tires that I done. But if they're sitting lopsided like that and crooked like that, and you could see print all over, well, I want to hear you tell me. It's like, well, you have to make sure your wheels are flush. You have to make sure this, that, and the other. Be a little cleaner when you're building. You know, make sure you don't have stuff on your hands. Make sure the paint has had plenty of time to dry. You know, you gotta be informative when you go in to somebody. And then I will never go up there and criticize your work unless you say, David, point out my wrongdoings, or point out my pros and cons. Tell me what I'm doing right so I can continue doing that, and then help me fix. I'd rather hear help me fix what I did wrong versus saying point out what I did right and point out what I did wrong. You know. Very good, Jay. Jay said that right there. And me and Jay, we shared the same passion. We've been to a lot of the same model shows together. Being in Oklahoma City, being in Wichita or I should say Newton, Kansas, when Newton used to have their hobby show. Um, so we've grown up together too at different contests, so we know the reactions that a younger modeler gets from an older guy. Me and Jay and Bobblehead and Big Boonsky stuff, we all get to show together, and so now we're like the older gentlemen now, um, because now all the older guys that me and Jay built alongside or passing away or getting out of the hobby. So me and Jay are like leading a lot of the younger kids now. And so we can see the difference that our generation is making to the hobby, but not everybody else gets to see that. I attended some IPMS shows and got the biggest unwelcoming ever because it was just automotive. But we kept going to the IPMS shows that finally they's like, well, hey, these guys ain't going away. They started making automotive classes for us. Back in the day, it was just a civilian class or what they would call soft armor. It wasn't really cars, trucks. It was like a military jeep or a military truck, not an armored Humvee, not a half track vehicle. So they would call them soft armor, not really an automotive class. But here in the last 10, 15 years, they've been doing the automotive classes because guys like us, we stayed going. And that's just one thing. Never get so discouraged that you put an ad in the paper to sell all your stuff or you just start throwing stuff away. This is a great hobby. It's an expensive hobby. It's a time tasking hobby, but it's a great hobby. So don't let anybody discourage you. I could never own a Charger, a Challenger, a Daytona, what have you, CUDA. But I can build them and I can build them to the way I would want them. So that's just a little free speeching for me. You guys I really thank you guys for doing the coverage this week on Facebook on what you're working on. Yeah, me too. Me too, Stig. So let's update you guys. If you guys didn't catch the show yesterday, I went live yesterday for a little bit. I was showing you guys how I used Tamiya Milliput. So we did some customizing to it. I was showing you guys how to do body work stuff, and if the body work wasn't right, how you can pull it off and clean it up with water. You're really not damaging your body. It's a better way to customize and using, say, a filler, because filler's two-part. It gets hot. Then you have to shape it. You really can't shape it because it's so liquidy and so thin. You really can't shape it. That using the Tamiya putty or using the Milliput lets you just round it out and form it out. What we did yesterday is we made the convertible boot. You guys can see now how I rounded it up to fit the headrest. How it's smooth and indention right there. Then, I widened the body panels here to make it look like it had room for the roof rack to come up and down. I did get the new set of tail lights in there. Remember we talked about that? Just as an idea, it seemed to work and fit. Got a lid. That did seem to work and fit there on the convertible. I added in a hood scoop. If you guys can't see, that's what a 70 Challenger hood scoop looks like. I didn't raise it up like this one does on there. I just sanded it down, moved it back, and glued it on. Yeah, guys, if you guys ain't been following Stig, his 3D printing is getting awesome. He's making some crabs, and he's made some racing seats. He's made some pretty nice stuff. Oh, you just use your regular sandpaper to sand this, John. Once it hardens up, I won't sand it for a while just to make sure, because if you guys watch the show, I layer mine up, I roll it out, I cut it in pieces, I form it, and I form it in layers. That way it don't fall in, it won't settle. So that's just the way I've come accustomed to using it. I got to put a little bit more in there. My knife slipped when I was breaking the body up. But you just use your regular sandpaper. It sands regular. Where's my sandpaper? Yeah, it will just sand regular, John. Just like that. And then most of the body work after I do the sanding like this, most of the rest of it will all be in primer. The primer will fill up some of my unevenness and what have you. So, and it sands fairly easy. So, I usually don't sand it, John. I usually don't go full board sanding and all that for a couple days. I like to let it set up. It's easier to mold, but it doesn't dry as fast as a body filler will. And so I take my time and let it actually fully dry. So just like that. And the hood fell off. All right. This is Scaledworld. This is the Scaledworld Charger 2. And let's look at the main project. Now on the main project, you guys seen that we did the tail lights last week, and we got the hood hinge and stuff. So I've been captivated by the convertible one, doing more work on that. Cleaning up some cuts and getting stuff to fit right. I didn't do a whole lot to this, but I did start I got the motor built, and I've been pre-wiring and stuff. These right here are going to be cooling lines. So what I got to do now is I'll cut. Once I cut this to shape here, I'll put a piece of aluminum tubing there, and then my radiator hose will go in there. This is how a lot of the newer cars are set up because of all the electronics. A lot of them ain't running a radiator hose straight to the manifold like back in the day. It's all being carried. So got that going. I'm making this a distributor car instead of coil caps, but it's just for visual. And then I made my own cold air intake, and then like a cooling can, so that way when it's sucking in, it's getting the air cool. So it's got a braided line, it's got an aluminum canister. I used my own air filter. The other one was way too long from Clearly Scale. But there's a lot more detail to do in there. I'm just doing some pre-fitting, some pre-wiring, so I can get, see where the tranny went and all that. And, oh, there we go. Let's do a snorkel. What do you think, Pete? Straight up out of the hood. And then it all fits nice under the hood. Like that. Hood opens and closes, shuts. Then I just pulled this old Challenger out just to see the difference, in history. What would it look like with these wheels? See, to me that don't look right. What would it look like? Yeah, that looks good. Let's see what the rear ones will look. Well, so I'm going to take up some of your guys' comments in consideration. I'll pull out some Zimmerman wheels. Where'd the other one go? These are the Z wheels that I had on the Fairlane that I sold to the slot car guys. Z wheels are way too small up front. Way too small. But these look good on it. Well, guys, I think it's time for me to grab a little lunch. Like I said, I got afternoon appointments today, so I'm glad you guys got to come in and spend an hour with me. I'm glad you guys took part in what's on your bench. Really like seeing what you guys were working on. Don't forget to share your completed builds there at scaledworld.net. And then don't forget the email address for your questions. This is the email address you guys can save down for the PayPal. And I think you guys would be happy with an anonymous raffle. So I'll have to see what will actually fit in there. Now keep in mind, guys, a lot of my kits are opened. So a lot of my kits are open. Usually I don't buy a whole bunch of stock just to sit around. Usually I have an idea for it and then lose interest. So within the hidden raffle, or blind raffle, that's what we'll call it, the blind raffle, it will have usable parts, usable tools, it will have usable kits. We'll have, I can't always recommend that there'll be sealed brand new kits. If you guys are fair with that, I could, if you guys are fair with that, I'll start getting things together, and then we'll discuss a timeline of an auction or something like that. Looking off my hand, I don't know how many kits will fit in a 12 by 12 by 10 box, but we'll do another spreadsheet. We'll do another spreadsheet like we always do. We'll have some donated gifts, I'm sure, from other members of the community. John from Gap Hill Speed Shop, George Ramos from Vision 124, Pete himself. They've always been really helpful on adding, those little secret gifts in the middle of the raffles. We still have this one from last year. This right here has already been announced as being a secret gift. A set of Pro Tech seat belts. So we'll see what we got going on, and we'll see where we go from there. I appreciate you guys taking the time, checking out what we're doing here at the Scale Weekly show, and what we're doing, what you guys, please, I'm stressed, and I can't stress enough, please take advantage of being able to share your place without any discrimination over at scaledworld.net. As long as you have pride in your project, as long as you're putting forth your best effort, just get us a clean picture and we'll post it up there with your information. So please contact scaledworld.net. You can find them on Instagram if you want, Facebook if you want, and then right here's a few links. And then don't forget the Scaled World Weekly. And then, like I said, we did the product review of the Buster's colors. So hopefully we can get you guys some paints. I've already mentioned the fact that about the cheap airbrushes. So we're going to look at those. And Brian's got some great purples. I'm loving this blue. And Pete just did his GTR a blue. So I don't know if I want to do Pete another blue card just yet. But look at that. That is just beautiful. So guys, this is Minnie. You guys have a great week. Hopefully you guys get some hobby time in. And until next week, keep an eye on Facebook. Keep your eye at scaledworld.net. And I'll keep you guys posted when I'm ready to do a raffle for you guys. So this is Minnie. Let me see what Don just posted. Thank you, Scott. John, I will have to find information for you on that. A lot of the guys are using the Tamiya clear blue and purple and smoke, and they're doing a blend of those colors. I have never done it myself, bud. Usually I just paint them black, because a real header is steel, so You know, it gets black when it gets hot. I don't know a lot of the chrome plated how they do the heat transitioning. So I'm sorry about that. Um, yeah, if I the my open kits, I will not send you guys a kit that I use for parts. If I send you a kit in the raffle, it's going to be a buildable kit. It's going to be a kit with enough parts in it to build it. I do know that I have a few kits that I'm thinking of entering, that were sold either as a cop car or as a street car, and I bought them from a guy that took all the police stuff out of them, and I bought them cheap, so the police stuff ain't there. But the rest of the stuff for the car is there. You know, your seats, your interior, your motor, your glass, all that is there. Um, I will look through. I will not put nothing in a giveaway in a raffle box that I myself would not use, build, or part out. All right, you guys will have my committed word on that. Um, I'm looking at, I have a collection of promos I might be able to add. I have built ups that are nice, clean, rebuildables. Heck, I might even put in one of my built pieces. We just don't know. That's the gift of you guys getting a blind box. You won't know what's in there. I'm not going to put in there three where there's no way you can find the fourth wheel to fix it or something like that. I won't do that to you. It might be a project that I started that will have that will have to take some, you know, patience to build. So we'll just see how this goes, you know. So we'll just see how this auction goes and see if it goes over well, if the receiving party of the win, if the wind raffle of the receiving party feels like it was a good win, it was a good thing to do, then we'll do another one. You you guys are helping me learn how to make my hobby and community better for myself to enjoy, and I'm trying to share what some of these other guys do, because you guys ain't gonna have a bench where Model Hut is going to ask what he can do for your bench. Scaled World reached out to me several years ago. It's just here within the last year and a half that we actually started doing more stuff for Scaled World. You know, we built that relationship. Pete found it safe for him to send his builds to me, to John, to, you know, to other people in the community, versus just, you know, knocking on the door saying, hey, here, this is me, send me your kit and I'll build it for you. You know, we took the time to build the relationship, and we built such a great relationship. Pete has brought me up on board with scaledworld.net, and that's an honor that I'll never be able to repay, no matter how many models I build for him. That's a great honor for me to actually be able to support a worldwide outlet like scaledworld.net is. Just like in the title, the world, no matter where you live at, no matter what language you speak, no matter what language you read, no matter what religion you partake in, your stuff is welcome at scaledworld.net, because we are into the model building. We're not into the socialization, the disagreements that some people may carry. This is our outlet. This is how we calm down from the hustle and bustle. Could you imagine Pete leaves work at 3 in the morning, is in traffic for 2.5 hours just to go like 30 or 40 miles. Anthony Rios, that you guys seen work, he lives in California. He'll get on the 5, and he might only live 15 minutes from work, but it takes him sometimes 3 hours to get home because of traffic. You don't want to be, you got to have something to release that stress, you know. So they come home and build. What better way to share off what you're distressing with than by sharing it over at scaledworld.net? I got twins. You want to talk about pulling my hair out? Well, I don't have no hair, but if I had hair, you know, you got one going left, you got one going right, you don't know which way to chase. So sometimes, you know, I need my break. And this is how I do my break, you know. But Guys, appreciate everything you do for me here at Mr. Mini Dreams. Thank you for supporting Scaled World Weekly that we started just within the last month. And really, guys, keep Scaled World at the tip of your hobby resource, because there's some great pictures. It's also an outlet for you guys. We do kit reviews. We do supply reviews. So that way, you know firsthand without spending your money and finding a product you're not happy with, that you'll have to be able to see and use the same products that we're using here. So this is Minnie, scaledworld.net, Scaled World Weekly. Appreciate your guys' time. Appreciate your guys' passion. Let us see what you guys are doing too. So this is Minnie from Pete. You guys have a blessed week. Have a great modeling adventure this week, and don't forget, next week we'll post up a new thread to see what you guys are working on, and we'll share that. Check out my friends at ISM for their weekly live shows on Fridays. You can find them here on YouTube, International Scale Modeler, and then you can also they have a Facebook page and all that stuff too. You guys can go to and enjoy. You guys have a great day. This is Minnie and from Pete at scaledworld.net. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. See ya.